The 9-Room Murders, Chapter 1. By Ayse Erbulak. The beginning of summer. Murder in the Gardens of Babylon. She lost her way after leaving the restroom. Of course, this had to happen. First time in this huge garden, and I had to go to the bathroom alone. Typical. If I had a husband, I'd have gone with him, she thought. The restrooms inside the main building had been full, with long lines in front of every door. When she asked an attendant if there was another option, his answer had given her some relief. A little farther ahead, there were portable toilets used by staff. Lifting the hem of her tight crimson evening dress, she tiptoed across the stone path and into the darkness, until a faint light revealed a small island of portable toilets standing in the open. No one was in line. Her bladder was pressing so badly that one more step, and she might not have made it in time. Careful not to touch the plastic walls with her hands or arms, and without sitting on the seat, she squatted halfway and relieved herself. When she came out, she walked through the grove for a while, but with every step, the music seemed to fade farther into the distance. She turned back the way she thought she had come, or at least what she believed was the same path. But she was wrong. For a moment, she thought she heard the sound of violins. If that was true, it meant she was near the entrance. She followed the music, even lifting her head a little to look at the trees. As far as she remembered, there had been lanterns hanging from the branches at the entrance, each with a candle inside. But suddenly, the violins stopped. Damn, they've finished the entrance music, she thought. Walking through the garden was becoming harder and harder. She was wearing a tight evening gown with a slit and thin, high heels. With every step, the stiletto heels sank into the damp soil like nails, slowing her down. I should have brought my cell phone, she thought. She could have called her friends, told them she was lost, and they would have informed the staff. At one point, she thought about taking off her shoes, but gave up on the idea. Even though it was summer, she was wearing pantyhose under her dress, with its deep slit, to make her legs look slimmer. If she stepped on the ground in them, the soil would rip them apart, and dinner at the wedding would start soon. She needed to be at her seat. By now, since she had disappeared for a while, her friends should already be looking for her. She was about to lose her mind with frustration. She was lost in a place she had no idea about. When she realized she was completely lost, panic washed over her. Suddenly, her eyes filled with tears. If she cried, her heavy evening makeup from the salon would run. The night had only just begun. How could this happen to me? I'm utterly lost, she thought, as tears slipped down her cheeks. Finally, she began walking in one direction, hoping it would eventually lead somewhere. But the farther she went, the more it felt like she was surrounded by an endless forest. Then, out of nowhere, a 2-story building appeared before her, with a faint light flickering upstairs like the flame of a lantern. Her steps grew faster with sudden joy, yet her high heels turned every movement into a struggle. A thin layer of soil clung to the tips of her shoes, slowing her down. As she came closer to the building, she realized it was in ruins. She pressed her hands against the glass of a downstairs window, narrowing her eyes, trying to see inside, but it was pitch black, impossible to see anything. Circling around the building, she noticed a staircase leading to the upper floor. The dim light gave her a spark of hope, yet also sent a chill down her spine. Maybe my eyes are tricking me. Maybe there's no light at all. Just moonlight falling through the trees, she thought. She almost gave up, but here she was, lost in the heart of a small forest. And that faint glow upstairs seemed to be her only chance of finding her way back. Hesitantly, she began to climb. From movies, she knew how dangerous it could be to step into the upper floor of an abandoned building. Her outfit made it harder. Her dress was so tight she had to lift her skirt slightly with her hands, just like she had earlier in the restroom, helping her to take each step more easily. But her spirit was far from at ease. After all, she was in an unfamiliar garden, facing an abandoned house. No music, no sounds from the wedding reached this place. That meant she was farther than she had ever imagined from where she was supposed to be. She was, unbelievably, lost in the midst of a wedding hidden in the trees right in the very center of Istanbul. When she was halfway up the stairs, she heard voices. Low, hushed voices. Relief washed over her. Finally, there were people up there. If she told them she was lost, surely they would help. She quickened her pace, climbing the steps faster. When the stairs ended, she found herself before an entrance with a door and 2 windows beside it. She thought she should look through the window before knocking. What she saw was strange. The groom, Cemil Giri, whom she had just seen minutes ago at the ceremony, was standing there. Beside him were 2 men. One held a laptop open at just the right angle for Cemil to see, almost like a servant attending to him. The other was pacing back and forth nervously. Emin was about to step inside and say, "Hello, I think I'm lost," to Cemil, whom she had only met once before the wedding. But she froze when she heard the words of the man with the laptop. "It's all set, boss. The shipment has left Jamaica. They'll arrive in Istanbul through Cuba. All you'll need to do is press a button, and the money will be transferred to the other side." Shipment? She thought. What shipment? No. It must be my wild imagination again. Cemil must be some businessman dealing with Cuba. But if it was legal business, then why on the upper floor of a ruined building? She asked herself, a storm of questions racing through her mind. And then she heard the fresh groom, Cemil. "And you know the best part? The money I'm transferring isn't even mine. It belongs to my dear wife Yaprak, who only took my surname 10 minutes ago." Emily felt unease rising inside her. "Does your wife know about this, boss?" one of the men asked. She pressed herself against the wall, unable to see who was speaking. She understood one thing clearly. She was hearing something she was never meant to hear. Then she heard the voice, one she thought belonged to Cemil, speak again. And then Cemil's voice again. Of course she doesn't know. There's so much she doesn't know. By the time she learns, I'll already be gone, far away from here. But not yet. For now, I still need my new bride. Think about it. Who would suspect a doctor without borders at an airport? We can carry anything we want. The police won't suspect a thing, nor will Yaprak. She's so in love, I've blinded her completely. Emin's heart began to pound. The conversation she never wanted to overhear was turning darker, more dangerous, and it was shocking her, even terrifying her. She had to get out, find her friends and warn Banu immediately, and tell her what kind of filth this groom really was. But how could she? She didn't even know where she was, and if these men realized she had heard everything, who knew what they might do? She didn't even want to imagine it. Her life was at stake now, and it was far more precious than her stockings. She took her shoes in her hands, ready to hurry down the stairs, when Cemil's voice stopped her once again. "We've come this far together, but now you're nothing but a burden to me. You know too much, and I can't allow your testimony. A different life is awaiting for me now." "I'm sorry, gentlemen," he said. 2 gunshots rang out.